Hi, everybody. Welcome to the horoscope of next week. Okay, so the week of August the 19th. So this is a very complex month. It's so much going on. So let's get right into it. Per usual, I'm going to cover the overall planetary report, and then we're going to go into the individual signs. Okay, all right, let's unpack all this. So first of all, we're still in the Mercury retrograde. Now, I did cover this retrograde in the previous weeks and highlighted it as a potentially productive retrograde, while in Virgo, letting us sort of get things organized, and then as it goes back into Leo, to be able to sort of push forward. Well, I don't know about you. I'd love to hear what's going on for you, but for me, this has seriously been messing with me. Just the normal things like lots of time-consuming, tedious tech issues, just one after the other. My productivity, instead of being high, is right down. Also had some fraud banking, which has been very annoying, and very tedious to deal with as well. So I would love to hear your stories, especially as Mercury is, just reverted to Leo right now on the 14th. So I'm hoping that that's going to free things up and not be so detailed oriented, and a little more sort of, visionary, getting out there and, planning to step out and get things done. Okay, so this week does start with a full moon. It's the Aquarian full moon, which means the sun is in Leo and it's in the opposite axis between the sun and the moon. So this full moon is very much about balancing the introvert and the extrovert parts of your personality. So these are just strong contrasting personalities, where the Leo is more of an extrovert, and the Aquarian, although I wouldn't necessarily call an Aquarian a full introvert, Aquarian energy does like to just block out the world around them for a while. And in this sense, this Aquarius full moon does help us all go a little deeper into who we are, discover more about ourselves, and discover where we are more of an introvert and where we are more of an extrovert. In that way, we get, more of a balance and alignment with the energy, okay? Now, the full moon in astrology on the whole does help us to get to know more about just who we are, and just helps us understand and just love and accept the person that we are, the good, bad, and the ugly. Okay, so all of us. And when we can do that, and when we can achieve that, and this is one of the things that I just love about astrology, because the chart really highlights, every part of your being and every area of your life. And once we can get more in touch with the person that we are, and in this sense, the introvert and the extrovert, personalities, then that allows us just to simply have more understanding and acceptance for other people, right? That's all good, right? So that's what we aim for. As we know, life is about relationships, and it's about relationships of everything, relationships with the people in our lives, the things in our life, relationship with money, love. So, there's a lot of getting to know who we are, and so, early at the same time this week, there's lots of layers this week. As I said, August is a very complex month, and in that sense, it's a shifting month. So it helps to sort of shift. But right now, with the Mercury retrograde, and also several other planets sort of interacting, and I'm going to go through that in a minute, then it does just help us to take a step back and just reflect. So reflect, review, and reset, okay? So at the same time, right at the start of the week, early in the week, there's several planetary interactions. So these are going to include 3 challenging squares, one between the Sun and Uranus, and I'm going to go through these individually and unpack them. Then we've got Venus and Jupiter and Saturn, plus a conjunction, which is when two planets are together at the same degree, and that's between the Sun and Mercury, okay? And that's not unusual. These two run pretty close together. They, play closely together, as well as we have an opposition between Venus and Saturn. So, well, there's a big lineup this week. Okay, so let's break it down. Let's unpack it and see what it's going to mean. All right. So first of all, the squares are traditionally challenging. Depending on what planets are squaring will depend on how challenging. In this case, with the Sun and Uranus square, that can set up a little bit of a power play. The power play generally comes from Pluto, but in this sense, the Sun has its own idea of what it wants to do, and the Uranus energy can just come in over the top and go, well, you know what, this is happening, like it or not, deal with it, okay? And as this square is also in fixed signs, Leo and Taurus, there can be a resistance of just allowing life to proceed organically, okay? And with the Uranus, it's not always possible to push through because it's sort of like a done deal. It's going to happen anyway. Comes out of the blue. You don't have much of a chance to, make a plan B or C. But it does give us a sense of what our values are and where our boundaries are. And that in that sense, there's a need for us just to take a step back, just let life go forward organically, because, here's the thing, most of the things we worry about, we really can't do anything about, right? I mean, so you want to ask yourself, is this something that I have control over? Is it something that I can change, I can be proactive about? Or is it totally out of my control? And, if it is, then it's there's no amount of worry or stress that you can put on something that's out of your control that's going to make any difference of it. So, keep that in mind. And, you just never really know what life has in store for you, right? And, even if it doesn't look great, a situation or interaction that's going on, and, right at the beginning, it doesn't look that great. I mean, it can end up being exactly what you need. It's just that information hasn't revealed itself as yet. All right, so stay positive. Now, the next square, which is an interaction between Venus and Jupiter, these two are great on hand, together. So it's not really a challenging square between these two planets. Venus, a planet of love and money. Jupiter is expansive, transformational, known as the lucky planet, the beneficiary planet. So the two together work well. So even in a square, it's not going to be that challenging. However, it does highlight the need to just see a situation or a person for what it is and who they are. And don't get involved in fooling yourself. Don't fool yourself into thinking that someone is going to change. All right, they might, but that's entirely up to them. So if you're trying to get someone to do something that they don't want to do or to make some changes, then my advice is you'd be better just to take a step back, just to back off, and just let them show you who they are and what they're about and what they're prepared to do. And just watch, is what they say and what they do, is it congruent? Like, in other words, how serious are they about doing what they say they're going to do? Is there any follow through? And the other thing to watch here is, people have patterns, right? So you look at their pattern and that'll give you an idea of how they're going to proceed, how they're going to act, all right? Now, on, a brighter note, Oh, before we get to the brighter note, the other square here is Jupiter and Saturn are square. Not that this can't be bright, but, Saturn's a bit of a hard taskmaster. Jupiter does brighten it up, all right? So it cannot work. Although, a square is a square, it does bring with it automatically some set of challenges. And let's face it, life really is about situations that support and challenges, and so they all serve us in some way. It's just that sometimes we just can't see it as it's unfolding. We got to then look back on it, and then we can see it. All right, so so the Jupiter's energy, it does brighten and lighten the overall energy here, particularly, it helps to just lift that Saturnian energy. And in this case, the Saturn energy can be a little bit heavy, let's face it. And although Saturn does help to ground the Jupiter energy. So, in this sense, it's not all bad. I know I do remember I said that about the Mercury retrograde. And for me personally, it's been really messing with me. So I don't know, but, when you put these two together, the Jupiter and the Saturn energy in the square, astral interaction, it can work well. However, it is up to you to recognize the benefit of the push-pull, so Jupiter's wanting to push and Saturn's wanting to pull back and be more cautious. So in that sense, these two planetary energies are opposite. But, if you can recognize that and work with it, then it does help to keep everything on an even keel and help to keep it grounded. So, yeah. Now, on a brighter note, the Sun conjuncts Mercury. Okay, so this is not uncommon because Mercury never travels any further than 30 degrees from the Sun. So it does open doors for communication to take place, Mercury being the planet of communication, creativity, and education. Okay, and Sun being our most powerful energy source. So this is just helps. See how this week, the whole August seems to be like that. It's very complex. So, you've got to trust yourself, go within, access your intuition. And I'm working on a whole intuitive 3-month program at the moment. It's going to take me a couple of months to get it together, but I'll let you know when it's ready, okay? So, you want to just use this energy just to gain more focus and gain more clarity. So it's certainly not too bad, these two together. And, you can get more clarity about what it is in your heart of hearts that you truly, truly want. Like what is your dream of dreams? Your dream of dreams is generally, I'm going to say, always associated with your soul purpose, okay? And then make a plan of how to arrive at the desired destination. So Saturn helps you make the plan, get forward. Venus helps you get in touch with your heart more, okay? Now, moving through the week, Venus and Mars also form a square later in the week. So there's a lot going on. And this is in mutable signs. So it's very good for relationship negotiation, or maybe I should say compromise, all right? However, you need to be prepared to make a compromise, right? And find out where that compromise is. What is your absolute best case scenario? What is the worst case scenario? Where is that middle point where you're prepared to make the compromise, that you don't go too far over the line of your boundary or your values? Because then once you do that, then that can turn into regret and resentment. Okay, so you want to find out where that compromise line is for you. And, just be careful with this one, because Mars is like the motivational planet. Venus is more about relationships, and the Mars-Venus energy together are very attuned with relationships, because Mars is passionate and Venus is I don't want to say Venus is compromising, but a little more than the Mars, but it's certainly more about bringing the relationship together, okay? So be careful that you don't just get in your own way. You know, if you dig your heels in and you get too stubborn, it's got to be this way, my way, the highway, then you're going to get in your own way. So have some flexibility there. All right. That's the key really for this week, to be a little more flexible. Now, of course, the air signs and the water signs do this naturally. The earth signs, not so much. It's a little more difficult because the earth signs, I'm a Capricorn, so I know we like to get everything set. And once it's set, we don't like to change it. Okay. And the fire signs, also not so much as the earth sign, but they can move faster and pivot, you know. So you want to be careful. Don't get in your own way. Now, the sun is going to make its move towards the end of the week on the 22nd. It's going to move from the fire sign of Leo and into the earth sign of Virgo. So this is going to help us all just to get a sense of our value system, as I was going through before, and to be able to incorporate more work-life balance, okay? And over the weekend, there's a sextile interaction, and the sextile interactions are all about opportunities, options, possibility, and just opening the door for more communication to take place, because between the communication planet Mercury and motivational Mars, this allows you to get in touch with what you want to say, how do you want to say it, how do you want it to come across, and just be able to voice it and just to stand in your own power and be authentic with your voice. All right. However, you do want to keep in mind Mercury is still retrograde, and now we're just at this point of time towards the end of this week. We're now just heading into the storm part of the transit again. This is the very disruptive part of the transit. 3 or 4 days either side of when it's either going stationary retrograde or stationary direct, okay? It will go direct on the 28th, and although the stationary direct end, as it's coming out of the retrograde, is usually, I'm going to say usually because this has been a very not predictable in my point of view, not totally predictable retrograde. So it's usually not as disruptive as when Mercury is stationary going into the retrograde at the beginning of the transit. Okay. Let's hope so. All right. Right now. So August, as I said, is a very complex month with everything going on. And as such, it's a great week just to reflect, review, and reset, okay? All right, so let's get into each of the signs. Now, the planetary report you'll find on my website, jenniferangel.com. Under the free resources, you'll find the blog, and it's in there. And you can also access it from the horoscope page too, which is where your sun sign reports are going to be. All right. Okay. So starting, of course, with Aries. So don't delay if there's something in your work life that isn't right. Aries, now is the time for you to take charge. It's a perfect moment just to revamp your life, making way for fresh opportunities. And when you're focused on your goals, success in both your work and finances is within reach. When you focus, there's no one better. You're just full steam ahead. Okay, so that's what you want to do now. Keeping in mind that you want to just keep everything a little bit flexible. There could be some surprises, and they can be great surprises. Okay. All right, so Taurus, in matters of the heart, Taurus, don't be too eager to please someone else. You have your own needs and desires to look after as well. You know, it's the whole thing. If you don't look after yourself, who's going to look after you, right? And if you don't look after yourself, how are you going to be there for other people, okay? So as a new beginning at work as well, you want to just, keep an open mind, It's time to, think about negotiating your way to the top now, and, things can work out. Even we know you don't like change, but things can, the stars are aligning, and they're aligning in your favor. So keep a positive outlook, an optimistic outlook about that, okay? Gemini, seize control of your life, Gemini, this week, but you want to do that while respecting others' boundaries. So we all have our own boundaries, okay? So you want to put yourself front and center, yes, but try to not be a people pleaser and there for everyone, but certainly try to go forward in a manner that you don't want to hurt anybody either. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but, you're a lovely, beautiful sign, Gemini. It's not that you would anyway, all right? So with love may not always meet your expectations during this time, but you want to be ready to accept your partner as they are, and you generally don't have any issue with that, all right? But the point is stay true to yourself, and there's lots of exciting developments now. You're smart, you're creative. Don't allow anyone to boss you around. And I think that's the point of this week, is don't allow anyone to boss you around. Stay true to you, okay? All right, so Cancer, revealing heartfelt feelings can build a special bond and strengthen your relationship, all right? So you want to just the more that you reveal about yourself, then that opens someone else's heart to reveal more about them. And that's how the depth of relationships are built. Now, if your financial affairs have been less than satisfactory, get ready for action, okay? There's more abundance coming your way. A creative project particularly gets a boost of energy, and now Mercury's retrograde. So if you get sort of news of some good news and it's delayed, don't worry, it will happen, all right? Excuse me. Leo, right, actions speak louder than words, Leo. So you want to just observe what's going on with other people, and particularly how people treat you. Okay, so it's all very well for them to say something amazing, but you want to see what they do as well, how they treat you. And in both your personal and your professional lives, there's some challenges. If you come across some pesky little challenges, just focus on your needs and rather than try to be there for everyone else. There comes a point where you have to pull your energy back and look after you first, because otherwise you're not able to be there for anyone else. It's like everybody, because you're such a dynamic person, everybody seems to want a piece of you. Okay, so here's the deal. Not every email needs to be replied to. Not every text or phone call needs to be replied to. Not everything on your to-do list needs to be done right now. Prioritize. What is your highest priority? Do that first every single day, okay? Now, being a team player at work is going to help you just conquer just about any obstacle. Once again, you don't have to do it all yourself, okay? All right, so have a great week. Virgo, someone wonderful can captivate your heart right now. So don't spend too many late nights at the office. Make time for love and avoid overworking as well as overthinking, because the overworking can, actually recharge your batteries because you love to work, but that overthinking can deplete your energy. So write it all down, get it out of your mind, and so then schedule in something that is relaxing for you. For me, it's movies. I'm an earth sign. I have to do the same. And, I love to watch movies. Gets my mind into a different space, and I'm able to, just then go into a reflective mode. So find something. If it's not movies, find something else. Now, you want to make time for love at the moment as well. And, you know, and just need to prioritize everything. I mean, love and work are both demanding, and life is hectic. So, you know, as I said, just focus on what truly matters. Now, Libra, stay optimistic now, Libra, as good things are on the horizon. I mean, to attract what you want in life, you want to spend time thinking and planning your dream life. Like, what is your dream? That's that big dream that's in your heart of hearts. Generally, always, most likely, that's going to be your sole purpose, okay? Find out what that is, and then dream big, visualize your future in detail, and put that positive thought and visualization and positive statements out there to the universe, and that's what's going to help you manifest it, all right? As well as massive amounts of action. Let's not forget that. We're physical beings. We've got to put the action in there, all right? Now, moon energy can help you just to break through now and just not repeat past lessons. So we've got that moon happening in your 5th house. So it's connections with people. And so, you know, if you've got like past love lessons and you feel like something's going down the same track or it's familiar, take stock, okay? You might think, okay, this is fine because I'm going to be different. I'm going to respond different or react different, or no, you know what? I don't want to go this way, right? And only you know that. Now, Scorpio, prepare for a busy period just by being organized to stay on top of things, Scorpio, okay? Love takes center stage now, so opening doors, you know, for new beginnings and soulful connections are all in your star chart right now. So you want to embrace some changes ahead and exciting changes. So have an open mind, have an open heart. And even though, you know, as a Scorpio, you probably have a plan and you probably have a plan B and a plan C. That's great, okay? But make sure you're just a little bit open and flexible, because if something else amazing, you know, comes through, nothing's set at stone. You can update, review, change, and, you know, make some alterations. So the full moon energy can disrupt things a little bit at home and with family. So, you know, it's 2 ways that you can deal with things. You can react or you can respond. So don't react, stay calm. Whatever's happening, it's going to pass, okay? All right, so Sagittarius, love heats up with Venus and Mars aligning, you know, because Venus and Mars are the love duo. Even though they are aligning in a square, it's just going to help you to either push a relationship to the next level or sort out how you feel about someone or a situation, all right? So just be open to have a meaningful discussion with your partner or a family member, and, you know, just like be open, just to let things happen and take place, all right? But don't let anyone to persuade you to do anything that you don't want. You want to be open to listen, open to compromise, but we all have that line in the sand. That's our line that we won't cross. So don't let anyone persuade you to cross that, okay? In other words, stay true to you, okay? All right, so Capricorn, soul love vibes head your way, okay? But take it slow. I'm ready, okay? Take it slow with a new love, or even if it's an old love that you've reconnected with, because let's face it, we are in Mercury retrograde, okay? So, you know, things can come back, you know, during this time, depending on where it lands in your personal chart, of course. All right, so you want to like guard your heart a little, okay? Not too much, but certainly a little, and guard your finances as well, all right? It's wise just to keep private matters confidential now and not rush into commitments too soon. So, you know, just like keep things a little close to your chest with confidential matters and money matters. And, if somebody is asking you for a commitment, I mean, particularly with Mercury retrograde and all the activity and squares this week, then you want to just take a step back and just say, no, just give me some little time. I just want to see what's happening with that. Just see how you feel, right? And the last note, just to be a little bit cautious with the money and set new savings plans in place that are going to help you with your future security, because that's what makes you sleep well at night, okay? All right, so Aquarius, breaking news, Aquarius, with a full moon in your sign, it is a message for you to take charge, all right? Take charge of your life, take control of the things that you can take control of. Don't try to force anything that's out of your control, all right? Everything's set up now just a review, but remember, you are in the driver's seat, okay? What you do is entirely your decision. And, when you make a promise for someone, I mean, it's important to keep your word so you don't risk letting them down. And if you can't keep your word, just be upfront about it. And that's going to take the pressure off you, okay? All right, have a great week. Pisces, right? So exciting developments are on the horizon for you, Pisces, right? So a passionate relationship is exhilarating. But, there's more to love than loss of friendship, loyalty, and a great dose of compatibility is also what's needed. And it's the friendship that, provides the glue for longevity in relationships, and it's the loyalty that provides the trust, okay? And compatibility, you have to have some compatibility. I like to think that you need like 70% plus of compatibility. You probably don't want everything 100%, because then there's no, what are you going to learn from each other, right? With your career, a lucky break, can come through now. It's very exciting, and it's going to pave the way to a brighter future. So keep an open mind about that, okay? All right, thanks so much for watching. Do go ahead and subscribe and like and share. I would love that. That helps to support my channel. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.